Welcome to another edition of Tuscaloosa Talks. Today I'm joined by City Council member for District 3, Norman Crow. Norman, we're here at a pretty cool place, aren't we?
Absolutely, Mayor. This is a great day to be out here, being able to see the construction going on at the new Northern Riverwalk. So a lot of progress being made.
Well, this is going to be, to me, I think it's going to be one of those things that right now as people go around the loop under the bridge, they really don't know what's going on, but once they discover it, just not District 3, I think all of Tuscaloosa is really going to enjoy this. And I think just, certainly this project started with Ms. Allman, former Council President Allman, now Representative Allman. But I think you got bigger plans, don't you?
Absolutely. I think this is just the beginning of what will happen in the district. This is a great start with this phase, I guess, of the Northern Riverwalk, but then hopefully it will connect in the next few years to the new development that's going to be right here on the river also that should be probably approved by the council in November, and hopefully we will have construction next year and some new things to talk about, maybe office space, restaurant, maybe some condominiums on the river. I think it's going to be a great development.
Well, I think Elevate gives us such an opportunity. Certainly it's given us the opportunity for this Northern Riverwalk. Something you and I have talked about with Elevate that we're looking at is the Phelps Center.
Sure.
I know we've got a long way to go on that, but what would you like to see, at the Phelps Center per se? What would you like to see in terms of an activity center for your district?
One of the things that a lot of constituents mentioned to me really during the campaign, but really since, is maybe redoing the Phelps Center, where we could look at having a pool. We could look at having some type of outdoor space there. When I was fortunate to go with a lot of the team members on the lake one day, we were looking at what could we do to have some new fishing piers or docks or some places for people to come up and have enjoy the lake more. Yeah. Maybe get more of our citizens out there. I would like to, or I guess what my plan is, Walt, is to look and maybe put a group of people together to say, if you could draw up what the Phelps Center should be, what do y'all want to see it be? I mean, I think an exercise facility of some type is probably good, but I think a pool and maybe some other amenities, we need to look at all of that.
And I think that's going to be one of the great things during your term. I don't know if we'll have a, quote, new Phelps during the next 3.5, 4 years, but I certainly think we'll be on our way to developing a vision, mission, and possibly an implementation plan, because that facility is right now on the best piece of property in Tuscaloosa.
Absolutely.
I think it can be an amazing amenity. Speaking of lakes, of course, Lake Tuscaloosa, you probably had the most high-value asset in your district in Tuscaloosa.
Sure.
But Lake Harris, Lake Nickel. With the Elevate plan, the goal is sometime mid-decade to really begin expanding the amenities out there. I think that can be a draw too. Absolutely.
I think the more people that could come and enjoy our lake, especially at the public points like the rock quarry landing, trying to update that some. But when we were going around the lake, whether I think Treasure Island is one of the places, but we were looking at some different places where they already have put up some grills, some places where maybe people could tie their boats and enjoy the day out on the lake. I think the more citizens we can get involved out there, I think the better.
Well, let's switch gears. I'm going to come back to parks in a second, but McWright's Ferry Road extension.
Big deal.
It's a really big deal, and it's been such a big deal. It's been on the books since I've been in second grade, and I'm not making that up. That is absolutely the truth. But the good news is
that's a long time.
It's been a long time. The city we've acquired nearly. I think as of yesterday, we've acquired 16 of 45 pieces of property. The goal is to be finished with property acquisition in 22 and begin construction either in late 22 or beginning in 23. This will be a massive project.
Sure.
But it's going to hopefully, it's going to do two things. Number one, I think it's going to help traffic-wise from north of the river into downtown. Two, we need a second access across our dam.
Sure.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. What do you think it's going to mean for your district once we can get that project moving and ultimately finished?
again, that is one of those deals that when I ran, one of my number one priorities was getting McWrights Ferry Road finished and trying to see that through. The traffic congestion, I think that is a huge thing for people over the spillway. I mean, there's the safety issue that's there, but really the school traffic and the work traffic, to have an extra outlet, like as you were saying, from over the spillway is going to be huge for that area. And I'm excited about the progress that's been made. Our city staff has been working hard on getting the right-of-way done.
Tom
because
Bobbitt is
Tom's done a great job. But, I think sometimes what I've had to tell people is until you have the money secured to build something like this, you just don't go out and start buying right-of-way. And the money is secured. We're kind of ready to kind of move forward now. My hope is that maybe construction can start at the end of next year, and a couple years later, maybe by the end of 24, we will have that extension done, because I think it will make a big difference in the district.
I think it's going to do beyond just the transportation needs and the access in and around the dam. I think also too it's going to continue the growth that we've seen here in North Tuscaloosa. Sure. It's certainly been our fastest residential growth area of the city. Has anything surprised you coming on to the city council? I know you worked diligently on the school board. You took a little break, and then you came back to public service. Anything surprise you?
I think what has surprised me is I think there's always a learning curve in whatever you do. If you start a new job, there was a big learning curve on the school board. I can talk a little bit about that. But on city council, when you really have to wrap your arms around not just what's going on in District 3, but you wrap your arms around on all 7 districts, working with you to come up with ideas that help our citizens move the city forward, it's a lot to kind of absorb. And we kind of got thrown in the fire with the budget, I would say, it seems like 15 minutes before we actually got in there. The one thing, though, that I think that is good for our city is we have a good council. I think we've got good people that are independent thinkers. I think that's one way someone said it to me. But we like each other. We're working well together. We're working well with you. And I think that's a good recipe for long-term success for Tuscaloosa and our citizens.
Well, Mr. Tyner and I were talking, our council president Tyner and I were talking about this. Tuesdays this term has been so much more fun than it has been in the recent past. And even when we disagree, so to speak, there's a respect level that's there, and we all just like each other.
I agree with that.
It's a lot of fun.
I think I jokingly told you last night we were probably talking too much, and I am reminded sometimes. My wife texted me one night and said, "You do know that people can hear what you're saying." Not that I was embarrassed about what I was saying, but we're up there. Because I do think we all like each other, and there will be times where we're all not going to agree, but I think it's how you handle that. Yeah. How do you disagree in a respectful way? And my hope is that if I'm disagreeing with someone, hopefully I can help change their mind, or hopefully I'll be open for them to change my mind to come up with what's the best thing to do. And so far, it's been fun to work with everybody. And I would say too, the staff, everybody has just been over backwards to have meetings, to be accessible, to answer your questions, to kind of help you do your job better. That's been a real positive thing for me too.
Our team members are amazing, and I always try to convey to them that I wish the people of Tuscaloosa could see just how really good they are at what they do every day. And I think for the council, it's once and I've been in that position. Running for something and governing are two separate things.
Absolutely.
And I've enjoyed watching the new council members get to know our team members, because they see they're not as what is portrayed often sometimes in social media. They're really outstanding people. Now, as a constituent, as your constituent, what are you going to do about Sokol Park?
Hey,
I'm just picking on you.
Well, I was going to I probably need to say that.
Yeah, don't make me have to get your wife out to text you.
Yeah, hey, what we've got to do is continue to work with our partners at Para and the county first to get some lights. Yeah. I think that's important. And then long term, we'll have to figure out what needs to happen out there. I do think that hopefully we'll add some amenities, some new things.
Well, and the good news is that in the budget you just passed as a city council, we've got over $2 million in traffic improvements, both within the park and outside the park. It's something that wasn't necessarily requested, but the council, and I agree, that's why we include it in our budget, needs to have it in there. And hopefully we're in talks and discussions with the county for them to do the light portion of it. So I think that's going to be, that park to me it's really exciting to see so many people there. And I think that speaks to the investments we're making across the board with Elevate into our park system. Now, let's have a little fun. What's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer? The beer I need, or the beer I was thinking.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
No, I like Michelob.
Okay. I wouldn't. I had you as a Bud Light, Ultra Light guy.
Yeah, well, I like that too.
Okay, what do you put on your pizza?
What do I put on my pizza? Sausage, and I like meat. Sausage, pepperoni.
I'm with you too. Favorite family vacation?
Favorite family vacation? Probably Disney World.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, what about it? Why was Disney World fun?
When we went, all of my kids, it was something that everybody enjoyed, because having 3 children, it was, when we were doing more family vacations really than we do now, because my 2 oldest are in college, it's hard to find a place where everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And what is it, the happiest place on earth, they say about Disney World? I would say probably Disney World for our family.
Yeah. Well, they're happy because they're emptying your wallet.
Oh, well, that doesn't change.
No, it doesn't change.
It's getting worse. I mean, the money's, it's a lot more expensive now, let me put it that way, in college.
Well, now you're from here, from Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
So tell people a little bit about yourself. Who's you and again, we both sometimes people see snapshots of your life, and you've probably been told this. You come across very serious, very reserved, but you're not that way really.
I'm really not.
So tell people a little bit about who Norman Crowe is.
Well, I grew up in Tuscaloosa area. Actually, I went to County High, Tuscaloosa County High.
No way.
I did, and so I've already had words.
I don't know if we'd have scheduled this podcast if I'd known that before.
I've already had words with Cassius about that, but I reminded him we were talking about a bunch of different things. No, but I went to school at Alabama, graduated in accounting. I spent years in the oil and gas business, actually, working for several different companies till I came back to Tuscaloosa. Always wanted to come here to raise my family. Moved back here in 2004 and started a small trucking company that I grew and with my teammates, and sold it actually in 2017. So I'm still there working for the people that bought me, being part of that. But it's I love being a small business guy. I hope that I bring that perspective to the council, because I feel like that is something that I don't want us going down the road or enacting things if we don't really talk as a group about how this affects job creators. I think Tuscaloosa is very business friendly. I want to keep Tuscaloosa business friendly. I have a passion, as you know, because we've known each other for years, for the city. I mean, I've served on a lot of different boards and different things, because I guess I always want to do what I can to help make Tuscaloosa better. It's being in public service. I've probably said this to a million people. I may have said this to you. I have a lot of respect for anybody who would put their name on a ballot, because it's not easy. But I enjoy the problem-solving side of this. I felt like when I ran, filling big shoes in Cynthia's shoes, but it was also very humbling to me, Walt, to look and say, okay, since 1985, there have been 3 council people who have represented District 3, Jerry Plott, Cynthia Allman, and myself, which says a lot about their leadership, their vision of Tuscaloosa. But District 3, it's a humbling thing. I mean, I feel like I'm stepping into large shoes to fill, but I ran because I'm excited about the future. I mean, I still think our best days are ahead of us. Not going back over the campaign again, but that was kind of what I tried to relay to people. I mean, I think I'm a known commodity, and I do think sometimes our district likes that, and I hope that they valued my service to the city. I do think you're right that I'm probably perceived as being too serious. I mean, I am serious about.
I wouldn't say too serious. I don't say that as a negative. I take it as, you're a very serious person. I mean, most people would know you have a CPA.
No, that's probably true.
I mean, and that's when I saw that, I didn't realize that until you ran for city council, which
Wow.
I think is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Speaking of serving community, before we wrap up, you're about to take on the chairmanship of a very important economic entity here. Tell people what you're about to take on.
Absolutely. I am in line to be chairman. I think I was nominated last week or whatever to be chairman of the Industrial Development, TCEDA as we call it now. I think the future of our city and our whole county, our area, because that includes Northport, includes the county, as we move to add more manufacturing jobs, we want that. But I also think part of the future economy is more knowledge-based and knowledge-driven. I don't think we've done a very good job in our community of harnessing that intellectual power from the University of Alabama, from Shelton, from Stillman, from our universities and partners here in the city. Hopefully, there's a lot of things on the horizon, I think, for our city that we may be able to tap into that a little bit more. We want to keep more of these students.
I think opportunity
here.
is presenting itself with the massive changes in technology.
I totally agree.
And with what the university has in certain disciplines, we can leverage off of that.
I totally agree. And I don't think really we've done a great job of that. And I don't know that I could point my finger at, well, who is at fault? I think sometimes in all these different entities we've stayed in too many silos, in my opinion. I think one of my biggest challenges is to try to bring everybody together to try to move things forward in the same direction. And I think that's a big undertaking. I think the key is to have a good board, a good staff of people, at EDA working. We've got our partners in the county, the city, Northport, everybody trying to move the same way with the university and other partners. I think it's going to be. I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be a fun 2 years.
And I think EDA leading that is the perfect organization because you've got the city, you got the county, you've got the university, and then you've got Shelton and Stillman, and then you have all the different sectors within our economy, each pulling its own separate way. EDA has a very unifying, I think, opportunity at this moment in our community's history.
I totally agree with you on that, and I guess it's. If I didn't feel like I could make a difference, I would probably be more insane than I am for trying to take on that challenge. But I do believe we are at a historic point in our city. There's so many great things happening that I think I can make a difference. So that's why I'm going to do it.
Well, one thing I've noticed during my time at the city, and I've been blessed to be both a council member and serve as mayor, is that District 3's council member, whether it's certainly it's de facto, but they tend to be more of a citywide leader as well. So that certainly was the case with Councilor Plott. Ms. Allman served as our council president, and I expect that no different for you. And you're already accomplishing that by serving as chair of the EDA, and I appreciate you doing that.
Well, thank you for that. One of the things on the school board, getting back to that just a minute, that I learned pretty quickly is you are on the school board to represent your district, but you have to look out and vote for everybody's child, because if everybody's child is not learning, if they're not achieving the levels that we need for them to be successful, none of us are going to win. But I really think the council's the same way. I will be a person that I've told you before. I don't have a problem asking you for this, or will you help me do this, or asking my teammates the same thing. We need something done in the district. But I also think we all have to be looking forward to what are we doing to move the city forward, because I think that's why we're there.
Well, and if we've learned anything from this podcast, we know if we're going to influence you, it's going to require a Michelob and a pizza heavy on
that probably Michelob Ultra or Michelob. I do like Michelob Light. I just don't, probably Tito's better. But
I wanted to get you. You got back into serious, Norman, and I wanted to get you to smile again.
No, hey, any meat lovers pizza is a good thing.
I'm with you. You can't pile it up deep enough for me.
No, it's all good.
Hey, thank you for doing this.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
This has been another episode of Tuscaloosa Talks.